Elon Musk wants to buy a Supreme Court seat in Wisconsin, and I'm like, why? Why? What is the angle? Stop. You already have the federal government. Calm down. You're already lapping up all of our data, and then you're going to resell it back to us or sell it to Russia or use it to privatize and make your own shitty system, even though Twitter doesn't even work properly. So he's put in now $76 million has been poured into this race. Musk-affiliated groups have spent $14 million. It would give the Supreme Court a conservative majority and determine whether liberals will hold their 4-3 majority in the Wisconsin court. April 1st is the voting deadline, by the way, and you can do same-day registration, very important. Now he's offering $100 to registered voters who sign a petition against, quote, activist judges. So this is the same thing that he did. This is according to The Verge, obviously in the run-up to the November election. Then it was $100 million, and I'm like, at least $100,000. Like, I mean, it was $1 million before. $1 million to $100 is a really big downgrade. And like, he only spent like $290 million on Trump anyway. This is all to bolster a guy named Brad Schimmel, who is trailing Dane County Judge Susan Crawford in the race. So yay, Susan Crawford, go Susan Crawford. And I was like, why? Why does he care? Why does he care? I get it. Hoovering up the data, important. Blah, blah, blah. And then you get to it and you're like, oh, this Wisconsin Supreme Court is also personal for Musk outside of politics because Tesla is suing the state. In 2024, Wisconsin blocked Tesla from opening dealerships in the state in line with a law that prohibits manufacturers from operating dealerships. Basic antitrust right there. Does that make sense? We don't even understand this in our country because that language is lost on us. The idea that like, if you are a manufacturer, you can't also operate the dealership. We're going to separate those two things. It's better for competition. It's better for, other businesses. It's fairer for other car companies. But he is suing them. In January, Musk posted on X, quote, very important to vote Republican for the Wisconsin Supreme Court to prevent voter fraud. He referenced an election conspiracy theory about voting in his post. There's an angle. There's always an angle. April 1st, guys. Wisconsin, come out to vote. But you're like, this is what I'm saying with all of Musk's stuff is there's always, it just comes down to him. You're like, maybe Nick Fuentes is right, dude. It's not about everyday people. It's just about like, how can I personally benefit my brand?
Yeah. As Francesca has always said on this channel, just to make this clear, Nick Fuentes is right.
Yeah.
That you always correct. But yeah, I kind of think about this like, don't you think that like the US government is kind of like, it works on behalf of large corporations, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of been its role forever. And now it's just like, I mean, I guess it's more like noticeable with somebody like Elon Musk and like Mark Andreessen and Peter Thiel and all these guys. It's just sort of like we're not only that's not going to be a kind of like secret, maybe like in the background thing. It's like, no, this is what this is for, like the government works for us. We're the kings, like that kind of thing. It's just like more in the open, I guess.
No, exactly. I mean, well, like this is the natural conclusion of years and years and years of undermining the federal government and its ability to regulate, of regulation in general, right? I mean, so much of what we do in the media space and all this is like, that basic principle of dealerships can't own or manufacturers can't own dealerships should be applied to media. I mean, it's very funny. We're talking about everyone in tech now wants to go into military because that's where the money is. Why? I thought Trump was bringing peace. But the natural conclusion of everything we have been building toward is a full corporate takeover of our government, of the richest man being able to buy his way into the Oval Office, of some sorry, half-dead sod who's also a Nazi himself, who's allowing him to do all that. Like when Amazon wanted to start a streaming service, or when Apple Plus, like everyone's talking about the Severance finale. Don't tell me. But like everyone's talking about, the Severance finale. And I was like thinking about Apple Plus. And on my show, we've talked a lot about how much streamers have destroyed Hollywood, how much streamers have undermined the industry. And you're like, yeah, man, because a tech company should have never been allowed to get into Hollywood. An Apple should never have been like a distributor and the studios. And I know that sounds anathema to us. I know that sounds crazy to be like, well, you can't prevent an Apple company or a company that makes computers and phones from getting into Hollywood. It's like, no, you can. You definitely can. It's actually called having like, robust regulation to prevent that, because you can't be the distributor and the owner of the content. Those have to be separated. So it's in media, it's in film and television, and now again with the military, it's like, why won't Apple roll out their own Israeli beeper to, kill the terrorists in your neighborhood? Like, like that kind of has to be stamped out when it starts. But we can't do that in this country because we, idolize billionaires. How did they get that way? Illegal practices. How did Microsoft get that way? Stealing other people's intellectual property, doing monopolistic practices that boxes everybody else out of the market, being completely anti-capitalist.
What do you think? This was kind of like, I don't know, maybe like a year ago or 9 months ago, there was like a big article that came out. What's that guy's name? But it was about kind of like the end of Hollywood. It's like what you're talking about. And it's like, yeah,
that was so depressing.
Yeah. I'm curious, as somebody who's like in LA, what you think's gonna happen, because it's like, I mean,
the life and death of Hollywood.
Yeah, it's a great article, great article, but and it goes into what you're talking about. But yeah, I'm curious what you think's gonna happen when it's like people are getting, like, writers are getting squeezed out more and more. I mean, obviously the quality's gonna get worse. But like,
it already is getting worse, man. This is like CGing everything. It's like, I mean, I'm glad that Snow White, I mean, absent of all the racist stuff, there are critiques at the fact that, like, I'm glad they kept the dwarves. Apparently they were going to, like, not do dwarves or little people. You can call them little people. I don't know. But they just replace everybody with CG. So instead of employing 7 actors, you replace them with CG? That's up. Like, why can't DEIA be anti-AI? Like, I'm against DEAI. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Droids, Equinox. What's the E stand for? Droids, electronics, and artificial intelligence. I'm against DEAI.
It definitely makes for worse content. I mean, like,
oh yeah.
I finally watched Honora, and it's like,
what'd you think?
I liked it. I mean, I think Sean Baker's probably like the best. People have problems with him. I get the critiques, but I mean, it's like his movies are like, here's like a very intense, very personal situation. Like all his movies are like that, where it's like, these are, he's really good at, like, these are real human situations, and you really feel for them, and they're like moving,
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, like AI, I don't think like AI actors and AI generated scripts and stuff are going to be able to do that ever. But they're working by this algorithm of trying to cut the writers out and cut the humanity out of it. Like, yeah, it's going to be, you're going to see less and less stuff even close to like the Sean Baker kind of stuff.
I mean, this is like what people said about, I mean, all of this stuff, again, to your point of there's nothing more normal. It seems very American to have corporations and the richest man running the show. It's like we could have stopped all of these things way down the line. The fawning over Elon Musk, putting him on SNL, putting him on all the late night shows. For what? For what? Because he's a billionaire who's like wears a fucking, Launchpad McDuck like jacket. It doesn't matter. Like, just because somebody wants to be looked at, I don't know. And again, like, so all of that was normalizing him. So the fact that like everyone built this monster, just like everyone built the Donald Trump monster. And there is something very reality TV again about all of this. Donald Trump made from reality TV. Made to look like a good businessman from reality television. The cheapening of all of this. I mean, when CG first came onto the scene, I don't know, but can you imagine how many set designers? Can you imagine how many, cinematographers, all of the people who lost work, prop makers and costume makers who lost work because of CG, and now they're replacing, which is kind of the most obvious, replacing actual CG technicians and designers with AI. So this has been happening. I mean, I remember talking to John Nichols of The Nation magazine many years ago, but he was just like, what we're also facing that we're not actually being honest about is not the replacement of our jobs, obviously, by immigrants, but by robots. This is the big technological hurdle of our lifetimes. Elon knows it. Everybody knows it. The real thing about Elon that's so funny is this fool doesn't just not believe in government. He doesn't believe in humans. He doesn't want humans around, right? This dude wants the singularity to come as soon as possible. That's why he's trotting out these robots to pose with Kim Kardashian and shit. Like, they think we're all expendable and that a hunk of metal is gonna give you this kind of love. No, that could ever replace us, either intellectually, interpersonally, artistically. That's who we've empowered. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/bitchuation room. Do it.